Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Formula. This is week 9 of the NFL season. We are flying by here. We are into November. This is going to be a little bit of a different episode. PB is actually live from the Bloomington Hospital. His wife, Ann, is actually going into labor right now. So
7 centimeters dilated.
well, there you go.
For the boys.
We're
In case
in
you
the
wanted
thick
the
of it.
details.
We're in the thick
Naming
of it
his-
here.
He's naming his baby Tom after Tom Brady because he's for the boys. He's in the delivery room giving picks out. So
Yeah. So we will we'll let
Absolutely
PB
not.
give his lock here so then he can go back to supporting his wife. PB, this is news to us. So what game are you choosing for your lock of the week?
Yeah, this is gonna be my one pick. I will say I'm running on 1 hour of sleep about, so take it with a grain of salt. But we're going with the Jaguars money line. We're going with
All
the
right.
Jaguars money line, and the Raiders just aren't it. We saw the Saints. I took the Saints against them last week. Didn't score a point on the Saints, and the Saints had a depleted defense. Jaguars, I still think have a solid defense. The Jaguars have played close games all year long. I don't think they've lost a single game by more than like 7 points, 8 points maybe. And the Raiders just are lost right now. The Jaguars are going to get this done. And that's all I have to say. I don't have any more analysis on that.
All right.
what does baby Tom think?
And my other lock is that my baby will not be named Tom. That's a guarantee.
All right.
Your
Well,
brother's not going to be too happy about that.
I'm all my dad. But yeah.
All right.
So
PB, thanks for hopping on, man.
Good luck
yeah.
to you and
Good
your
luck.
wife.
Yeah, good
had to
luck,
had to make an appearance even in the
That's
these big
dedication.
moments.
That's
That is
dedication
dedication.
right there.
Live from the hospital.
All right.
Well, maybe I'll be back tomorrow for the DFS thing. We'll see.
Probably not. I highly doubt that, but
You're
good
gonna
luck.
have a lot of time.
PB, I love where your priorities in life are at, dude. I love it.
All right.
All right.
See you, brother.
Yep. All right. Well,
Well,
there
I
you
think
go.
we know what sleep deprivation does to someone taking Jaguars money line.
Yeah.
If anyone was
actually-
wondering.
Yikes.
We're gonna jump to that game right now since PB had talked about it. That's his lock. I actually have a pick on that game as well. I'm going on the other side here. I am taking the Raiders -1.5 traveling to Duval Clown Town Nation. Jacksonville is not a good team. Whatever PB says, he must be, hitting that laughing gas there in the hospital room because Jacksonville is not a good team. They are getting better, but they're still a young team that makes mistakes, and they're just not there yet. They will be in a couple of years. I assume they will be. They just traded for parlay man Calvin Ridley to boost that offense.
Can he play?
No, he can't play till next year. So,
Next
like
year.
I'm saying, in a couple of years they'll be okay. But Jacksonville's 0-5 ATS in the last 5. They're 0-5 straight up in the last 5. They just don't have any good trends going towards them. And I know the Raiders did put up a stinker last week against the Saints,
Bad.
but yeah, I mean they looked bad. But
Bro,
I
they
just
didn't cross the 50 until like 3 minutes ago in the first half or something crazy like that.
yeah, I just don't see that happening again. They have too many weapons on offense. They'll put it together. It's just one of those games in the season that a team that is trending in the right direction just has a hiccup. So that's what I think that is. So I'm taking the Raiders -5.5. But moving back in time here, we're going to move to Thursday. We have the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles traveling to the Houston Texans, who are just in abysmal situation. They didn't trade pieces today to build for the future. I don't think that locker room is very happy. I don't know. They're just a dismantled team right now.
Yeah.
But Alex, looks like you have a pick here for this one.
Yeah. This is purely a fade the public pick, and continuing the trend of primetime unders. Going to take under 45 here. I was ready to take it at under 43.5 where it opened up, and the line has gone up to 45, which I just love to see. I think the Texans are going to have a tough time putting up more than 7 or 10 points. And while the Eagles clearly could put up 30 plus in a short week, I think that they lean on the run a little bit more. And obviously, pretty much the only offense the Texans are getting are from Dameon Pierce. So slowing down the clock with both of the run games, primetime unders, the public is all over the over. And I think strictly because it's the Eagles. So I will be fading the public and taking the under 45 here.
Yeah, it's hard to see where points will come from the Houston side.
Yeah.
I mean, if you eliminate Dameon Pierce, you throw the ball.
Eagles got a good D line.
Yeah, I mean, they should absolutely just obliterate this team and continue being undefeated. I'd love to see the line of which game you think the Eagles will lose first. I'm sure there's some probably juicy numbers in there.
Yeah. Every couple of weeks when they're still, tacking on wins, I'll get like a tweet from Action Network or whatever, Stats Lab, whatever, and it's like it'll give you the odds on every game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this definitely is not the game. It's probably like plus 1,200 if I had to guess. But moving on to the early games on Sunday, we have the Wagon Bills traveling to the who we thought they were Jets. Looks like the line is minus 13.5 for the Bills. Over under is 47.5. Nick, you have a pick from here.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Bills coming off of a bye week, which is scary enough to begin with.
No, they just played. They just played the Packers.
Yeah,
that's basically a bye week. Yeah, Green Bay sucks. It's a bye week, but we saw Zach Wilson pass for 350 yards last week. While impressive, they were only able to convert that to 17 points. So I don't think they're going to be able to keep up. I don't think they're going to be able to replicate 350 passing yards again. So I think the Bills are just too high powered of an offense. They're guaranteed 30 points. I don't think the Jets are going to put up more than 20. So yeah, that's kind of the pick. It's just a numbers game on this one.
Yeah, one thing I love about the basically top 3 teams in the league, according to a lot of people and probably all 3 of our opinions: Bills, Eagles, Chiefs. I think it's fairly clear cut. I mean, who else are you throwing into that category?
I think the Vikings are pretty hot right now. We'll get to them in a bit, but
yeah,
they look pretty good.
I don't disagree with that. I think they're like the next tier under, but one thing about the Bills that we've seen all year is they beat the brakes off of bad teams. Mm-hmm. And while the Jets have a good defense, they are stinky on offense, especially without Breece Hall now. And that spark that he was giving them for a couple of weeks there. But
and Zach Wilson is not a good quarterback. I don't care what anyone says or what he's done this year. They're 5. No, he's whatever. I feel bad for Jets fans thinking that it was like false hope. Like, oh, look at us, 5-2.
Remember when it was like, oh, he throws like Patrick Mahomes, kind of like, do we have the next guy? Like,
yeah.
That was.
I mean, I think you get some teams just starting the season hot, but good teams continue to stay hot. I just don't think the Jets are that team. Like you were saying, Corey, Breece Hall was a huge blow to that offense. I mean, that was their main red zone guy, and I think Trey White's going to lock up Garrett Wilson. Elijah Moore just doesn't want to play football in New York anymore, so there's not really many answers there anymore. They're not going to be able to keep up with this team at all.
Yeah, talk about the Jets just not making moves for the future. Like, you literally have someone there on your team who does not want to be there, and you didn't trade him today for picks. Like, what are you doing? Like, that makes no sense to me when teams do that, because it's what you punishing the player? No, you're punishing your team and your future team. Like, get rid of the guy. Like, he doesn't want to be there. You stack up the draft picks.
That makes no sense, especially with someone like Eli Moore that you could get probably, I don't know, second, maybe third rounder for
Yeah.
sure.
You definitely
Probably a
could.
second rounder. I mean,
I
he's a
think
young
so,
guy,
too.
tons of talent.
I think so
He's
too.
shown flashes of greatness.
Yeah. All right.
they just
Let's
don't
move
use
on
him.
here.
Yeah.
All right. Next game we have is the Dolphins traveling to the Bears. Bears have decided that this is not their year. Moved some defensive pieces, but did bring back help for Chase Claypool. That should help out Justin Fields, because I think I saw a stat today that the Bears have 7 active receivers on their roster with a total of $8 million combined with all 7. So they needed some help. They found some help. So, but it looks like Alex and Nick have some picks on this one. So what do you guys think?
I'll let the Bears man go.
Yeah.
Mr. Ditka.
Mike Ditka. Let me ask you guys this. What's the one thing you think of when you hear 2022 Miami Dolphins?
So many points.
Nick?
The first thing that came into mind, maybe because Call of Duty just came out, but was a juggernaut.
There you go. Yeah. I'm thinking track meet football.
Yeah.
Right? So they're fast, they put up points, they push the pace, and the Bears offense has been figuring out some things these past couple of weeks, letting Justin Fields run a little bit more, designing and scheming runs directly for him, which we had not seen in the past. And clearly Callie is a fan of the pick. And yeah, so it seems like the offensive coordinator has really decided that we're going to fit our scheme to Justin Fields as opposed to trying to fit Justin Fields to the scheme. And I think you've seen what he's done with that the past couple of weeks. Put up 30 plus points in back-to-back weeks, I think, against the Cowboys defense, who we can all agree has, pretty high level defenders, Super Bowl caliber defense, in my opinion. 3 straight games with 200 yards rushing as well for the Bears. And when's the last time you could actually root for a shootout in a Bears game? I couldn't tell you that, but in this year against the Dolphins, I'm going to take the over 45.5 as my lock of the week. Let's get it done.
Yeah, I mean, my original pick was also the same thing, but I don't know. The Dolphins just can't be stopped. To me, the safer pick was Dolphins -5, which is what I'll be betting this week. I was a little worried that the only way to slow down a really good offense is to limit the amount of time they have with the ball. Alex was just saying they got 200 plus rush yards in the past couple of weeks. So I think that's the Bears' game plan to win this game, is slow it down. And for that reason, I didn't like the over. We were also kind of expecting a big shootout when the Dolphins played the Bills. I got burned on that one. So maybe, it's a little recency bias for me. So staying away from the over under this week, but I do like the Dolphins, where, it's nothing against the Bears. I think you're right. They're getting better, trending in the right direction. I love the Claypool addition just from a franchise perspective, and it's going to help out a young Justin Fields this year. So I love that move, but I just don't think it's enough this week. I think the gap of Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn are going to be too big to fill. So for that reason, going Dolphins -5.
Yeah, the Dolphins defense definitely, I mean, they got Bradley Chubb today because they needed something, because they have the least amount of sacks, I believe, in the NFL right now, or they're one of the lowest with, I think, like 13 or 14. So they're not getting pressure on quarterbacks unless they're blitzing. So bolstering up the defensive end for them is going to help. But the Lions, it's the Lions and they put up points every week, but they got off to a hot start against the Dolphins defense. So I can see points if we have something reoccurring like we did last week. So, but yeah, I like both picks. I think probably both hit in this game. But moving on here, we have the Packers traveling to the Lions for the first time this year. Packers are 3.5 point road favorites. Over under is 49.5. I'm the only one with the pick, and I believe I said it last week, and I'm going to eat my words. For that, I'm taking the Packers -3.5 here. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why, because the Lions aren't a good team. They-
Same old Lions.
it's the same old Lions. It is, and they just got rid of one of their best offensive weapons, like that. To not only they literally traded
Such
to an
a-
NFC interdivision opponent. You
What
don't
is
do
that
that.
about, dude? What is that?
Like,
Like-
did
Makes no
TJ
sense.
TJ
No.
Hawkinson say something to the Dan Campbell, like, "Hey, like you suck at your job," or like what? I don't understand, but like it's mind boggling. Same old Lions. That organizations run like crap. They hate their players, i.e., Calvin Johnson. But
They
the
don't like
Packers,
to pay anyone, and they
Dude.
were going to have to pay Hawkinson like a top 10 tight end who's getting 10 mil a year. You saw David Njoku just got a similar thing. He's around that same tier, so I'm assuming the
Yeah.
Lions were like, contract's coming up. Let's go get some more picks and continue to suck. So
I mean, but there's like nothing. They don't have like a guy coming up. Like now they have to restart. Like it really doesn't make sense. But for the Packers side, who didn't make a move today in free agency, which every single person and their mother and their grandmother definitely thought that was going to happen. I did catch a little bit of Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee. He said that, keeping the locker room together and the chemistry together is very important to the team. But again, like, what does that do chemistry do wise on the field? It's like you're not winning games.
what are
right
they,
now.
2-5, 3-5,
3-5? I think they're
3-5?
Yeah, they've lost
I
4
don't care
straight.
about chemistry if you're not winning games.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so this has to be a get right game. This has to be Aaron Rodgers like MVP performance that we've seen the last 2 years. Like, he's got to put up like 400, 500 yards and like 6 touchdowns, especially against this very bad depleted Lions second. I mean, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill were open literally every single play. Like they had 10 catches apiece, I think, and like 160 yards.
I'm so mad at myself that I didn't live bet the Dolphins when the Lions went up
Oh.
like 17-0 or something, dude. Like
Yeah, it was probably massive.
most
Well, not
obvious,
massive, but-
most obvious live bet of all time.
Yeah, I make sure you are looking at that if you are
Yes.
sitting on your couch. Like you're like if the Bills go down to the Jets like 10-0, I'm sure that's not gonna be a huge line difference. Like if they'll probably be like maybe minus 105, it probably won't be plus money, but there are definitely some teams that you look at and you're like, wait, they're playing a really bad team. Like definitely check those live lines because you can get some juicy odds there. But all right, let's move it on to the next game. Looks like all three of us have picks from this one. We have the Vikings traveling to the Washington Commies. The Vikings are 3.5-point road favorites. Over under is 43.5. Nick, let's start with you since this is your big pick.
Vikings minus 3.5 is my lock of the week. I'm over here every Sunday chanting "Skol" at the TV. They're a pretty great football team. Dalvin Cook, every time I watch him, I'm always so surprised how fast he is. Just getting through the line of scrimmage, it's incredible to watch. I love the Hawkinson pickup, like we just said, and only minus 3.5 against the Commies. This is another one that doesn't make sense. I mean, we know I'm over here working at Oakmont Stratton, like just dishing out money left and right, Jordan Belfort style on my lock of the week. I've only lost one. If you were to bet with me all year, you'd be up $10,000.
Facts.
Facts. So, this is my Belfort baller of the week pick. Vikings minus 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, I am on the same wavelength as you, Nick. I do not understand this. Washington, I don't know if Chase Young will be back. Even if he is, I don't think he'll make a difference. They just traded away one of their corners, William Jackson, to the Steelers today.
Yeah.
Like we said, the Vikings just got TJ Hawkinson. I don't know how much he'd be involved in this game coming off, a couple days of practice, but the Vikings are still a very good team. And the one downfall they have is that their secondary it's okay. It's not very good, actually.
They're slow.
Not like the Commanders. It doesn't like the Commanders have. I mean, they have Scary Terry, but that's about it.
Hudson, I think, will be back this week too. Something to
Okay.
keep an eye on. He had a good start to the year for a rookie. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe something to keep watching.
definitely keep an eye on that. But if this game was in Minnesota, the line would be completely reversed, I think. I don't think the Commanders are 3.5-point home favorites. So this is going to be a good one. I think the Vikings win by at least 10 points here. So Vikings minus 3.5.
Yeah, this is one of those where I get a little suspicion, a little fishy, because this line makes no sense to all three of us, where I'm like, what do the books know that we don't? It's one of those lines, right? But I don't think this late, this long into the year that I'm that worried about it, because I do agree with you, Nick. I think the Vikings are in that top tier of football teams, and the Commanders just aren't. The Commanders. So yeah, I'm with you guys here. Vikings minus 3.5. I think Hawkinson gets a small package of plays for him added in, and the one great thing about him is he's an awesome blocker as well. So you don't really need to draw up a ton for him to be on the field a bunch this week, because he's involved in the run game as well.
You know, we probably could have cut this segment a little short and just said Kirk Cousins revenge game next.
Yeah.
Also not prime time.
It's not prime time.
So there you go.
Yeah, Minnesota's 4-1 straight up in the last 5 against Washington. So, and 8-11, or 8-3 straight up, in their last 11 in November. So, Vikings love to play in November. So moving on here, we are moving to the Seahawks versus Cardinals in the midday games. Seahawks continue to keep winning. They are traveling to Seattle and are 2.5-point underdogs. 49.5 is the over-under as well. Alex, what is your pick here?
I'm going to keep betting the Seahawks until the books, the public, whoever starts giving them some respect. I mean, their defense started showing up these past couple of weeks on top of them having one of the best offenses in the league currently. Like, it blows my mind to say it. I don't know how it's quite possible, but the Seahawks are leading that division and looking pretty dominant in their wins. It's not like, I'm sure they've had a couple of fluky ones. I haven't watched every single game this year, but they're putting up points, and the defense showed up last week. And I honestly, I think we know what the Cardinals are. I think we've seen it. Obviously, D-Hop gives them a bit of a boost, bit of a jump, but the Cardinals have never been a good team at home since Kyler's been the quarterback, since Cliff's been the coach. For whatever reason, they play much, much better on the road. And I think the Seahawks are a much better team than the Cardinals are. Like, I think the Seahawks actually compete in the playoffs. I don't think the Cardinals make the playoffs. So yeah, Seahawks plus 2.5, probably sprinkle in Seahawks money line as well, just to get a little bit of juice there, because I think they win outright.
Yeah. I want to say Seattle is like one of those teams that we just know, like they're winning, like and they're not comparable to the Jets, but it's just one of those teams you're like, you weren't supposed to be good this year. And
I think they're more comparable to the Giants.
Maybe the Giants. Yeah. And they just beat the Giants. But yeah, it's weird. And I'll keep saying, I'll say it week to week. Cliff Kingsbury should not be a coach in the NFL with that much talent on your team, and you can't win games. Like, dude, you just bad mistakes by young players. He'll be gone this year. He'll definitely be gone after this year. But all right, moving on here. We have, I believe, one pick from the next game. We have the struggling Rams traveling to the struggling Bucks. The Bucks are 3-point favorites. Over under is 42.5 here. Nick, you don't have anything in here, but I do believe you are looking to pick something.
I am. I think we've obviously seen Tom Brady struggle all year, knowing that Antonio Brown is home with his family instead of him. So, you can't blame the guy, but I think that continues. Season's kind of dwindling away for them. I think they have more talent than the Rams right now, which is, they're kind of a disaster, but I'm gonna go with the under on this game actually, because I don't think either team is really putting it together. And I think their names are. I know it's only 42.5 points, but I don't know. But they're both just kind of stinking right now. I don't see a breakout scenario for either team, and yeah, so that's gonna be my pick this week.
I will say that is not a bad pick because
Yeah.
both offensive lines struggle
Yep.
really
Yeah.
bad, and both these defensive lines are top
good.
notch.
Very good.
Also Cooper Kupp
Yep.
is I don't know
Might
his
not be playing.
yeah.
Yeah, there was no structural damage, so there's no prolonged injury. They might, take it easy this week at practice, but Sean McVay came out and said this morning they do expect him to play.
Okay.
But maybe he's limited on a game like this, so we'll
Yeah.
see.
I
Even more
mean,
reason to bet the under.
Yeah, I just you don't see where the offense comes if he's not in the game for the Rams. I mean,
these old quarterbacks are not going to have any time whatsoever all
Yeah.
game too, and
Yeah.
they're just.
I saw.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I saw a stat that Allen Robinson was top 5 in red zone targets.
yeah,
And I was like, I don't think has he caught any of those? I don't
think
think
maybe
so.
one.
Maybe one.
One
yeah.
touchdown all year.
In the whole NFL, he's got top 5 most opportunities and just hasn't converted. So starting to lose confidence in Allen Robinson's ability. To be honest, I think he could have been a one-hit wonder with Mitch that one year on the Bears, but I haven't seen it from him.
Oh no. Well, this would have to be the game because this will show the reason why they paid him. If Cooper Kupp is limited, and this you'd be like, hey, dude, you have to play like the amount of money we paid you.
Yeah.
All right, let's move it into the night games. We have picks for both games here. We have the Tennessee Titans traveling to the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are 12.5-point favorites at home against a 5-2 Titans team. And the over-under is 46.5. This Titans team reminds me of last year's Titans team, which was actually better than this year's Titans team. Somehow they just keep winning games and just like the Titans were a number 1 seed in the AFC last year, if you guys recall.
Yep.
I mean, which is
they lost like
absolutely
90 starters throughout the course of the year and still were the 1 seed.
Yeah, I mean,
Have you looked at their schedule like this year and who they've beaten? It's like laughable. Like they're easily the worst 6-2, whatever their record is. Team in the NFL.
Yeah,
it was like last year. They're the worst 1 seed I could remember in a long time. But Alex and I both have picks from here. We're both on opposite sides. I will go first. I'm taking the Chiefs minus 12.5, and I know that's a scary line, and the Chiefs have not been able to cover lines, especially of this magnitude. It's pretty scary, and all the trends are favoring the Titans. Titans are 5-0 against the spread. In the last 5, Tennessee is 5-0, and they're straight up 5-0 straight up in the last 5. 5-1 ATS against the Chiefs in the last 6. But this Titans secondary is atrocious, and they haven't come up against a caliber quarterback like Patrick Mahomes yet, who can slice and dice any defense any day of the week, and put them against a team like the Titans. I feel who are very one-dimensional. I just don't see where the Titans score points. You know what the Titans are going to do? They're run Derrick Henry 25, 30 times. Also, Ryan Tannehill's health is in question. I don't know the severity of his ankle sprain still. It's been, it'll be close. It'll be 2 weeks since he hurt it. But if somehow Malik Willis is playing this game, this line is going to jump even higher because Malik Willis played last week. He did not look good. He literally just handed the ball off to Derrick Henry. Anytime he had to throw the ball, you can tell there's a lot that has to be done to make this guy NFL caliber quarterback. So with that being said, I'm taking the Chiefs minus 12.5. And hopefully Malik Willis is still playing quarterback.
Yeah. As you mentioned at the beginning there, I'm on the other side. Titans plus 12.5. I think this is too many points for how well the Titans seem to always play the Chiefs, and for Mike Vrabel as a coach and Tractor Cito the way that he's running. Again, if Malik Willis is starting this game, I am definitely not putting money on this. I'll keep it on my card just because we're talking about it, and I'm a man of my word. But this pick is also under the assumption that Ryan Tannehill is back. Obviously, much more competent quarterback, much more time in the league. Doesn't just have to hand the ball off to Tractor Cito, but I think he still gets 30 carries either way. And I think that Vrabel coupled with the way that the Titans play offense is the only reason they're covering this line. I just think that they keep it out of Mahomes' hands enough to keep it within, 10, 7, 10. So yeah, I don't love it.
Like that. I
don't
don't
want
love
the
Andy. I don't like betting against Andy Reid off of a bye week. Yeah, I'm with Corey on this one. I think I love what the Chiefs are doing. Went and got Tony. They'll probably throw him out there for a couple streak routes, right? He might catch a tutty. They seem like the team that's like, oh, we got a shiny new toy. Like, let's throw him in the mix and let's see what he could do, and just start to build that chemistry right away.
Yeah.
So I think that they could be This is definitely a great game to experiment with a really shitty secondary. I think their only good cornerback or secondary player is Caleb Farley, and he's not even lived up to what he's supposed to be, being a first-round pick. So kind of like the Chiefs in this one. I'm betting with you, Corey.
I think the other thing about this game, first of all, I feel like they always schedule this game for a primetime game. The second thing is, like, the Chiefs can score so quickly. Like, the issue is, like, the Titans have to almost score every time they touch the ball, because if they do not, and they have to try to throw the ball. I mean, they have Robert Woods. I mean, name their other receivers: Nakeem Westbrook, like Jeff
Austin Hooper.
I think part of that too, though, is like Vrabel seems to be the kind of coach that won't he's not going to shy away from giving Derrick Henry the ball, even if they're down 2 scores.
No, definitely not.
It's his only chance.
He's the type of player.
But I think you see like a lot of coaches go down 2 scores and go like, oh shit, even if the run game's their best part of their offense, get away from it.
Yeah.
I think about kind of not to, throw stones, but the Browns, like when the Browns go down and they stop giving it to Nick Chubb, it's like, what are you doing? Like, you have one of the best running backs in the entire league.
They actually did that. They actually didn't do that against the Ravens 2 weeks ago. They just gave the ball to Nick Chubb like 12 times in the fourth quarter. They're like, your only hope right now.
Why not?
It was actually really great to see, but I agree with you. Beyond that game, it was totally just like, oh, we got to start throwing to Cardell Hodge and Donovan Peoples-Jones, and we all know how that goes.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up here with Monday night's game. Thankfully, unfortunately, PB cannot be here to defend this team. We have the Ravens traveling to the Saints. The Ravens are 3-point road favorites. Over under is 48.5. Nick and I both have picks. Nick, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints kind of beat the brakes off
pitched a shutout.
The Raiders last week. Yeah, thank you. It was a little intimidating to bet against. They didn't have all of their good players except for Winston. So I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to do that against the Ravens, who also just traded for Roquan Smith. Very salty about that. That defense did not need any help in this division. So I love primetime Lamar Jackson too. This is kind of where my pick comes from. I love Ravens -3 because of big trust. Woo woo.
Woo woo.
Yeah. It's crazy to see that even with a healthy Jameis Winston, the Saints are like, actually, you know what? Andy Dalton's probably just a little bit better.
So Winston's healthy?
He's healthy enough to play.
Really?
He's the last 2 weeks. He's been healthy enough to play.
Who?
I'm sure PB. Well, I know last week he was healthy enough. At least last week, yeah. And they still ran with the red rifle. So
I did not know that.
yeah, so maybe it's just caution. Like, but like if he needed to play, like he was the backup quarterback. Like he was, he was locked and loaded. But I guess the Saints are kind of seeing the writing on the wall there. But this is actually a very special week. We actually had someone write in this week to the show. It was a note. Funny enough, it actually was Lamar Jackson who wrote this one.
I was gonna say like a pigeon carrier.
Yeah.
That? A handwritten note.
Yeah, he sent it to me directly to my
Right
house
to
down
the
here in Florida.
headquarters. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'll read what he said. So bear with me. These are not my words. These are his words. So you can, run with this. Hi, Corey. This is Lamar. I was sitting here smoking my cigar, and I thought, wow, this line is bizarre. I'm an NFL superstar, while the Saints are far from relevance. There's so much evidence of their irrelevance, not even the intelligent can see the elephant in the room. So let's presume the Saints are doomed and watch me cover this line with a big boom. Ravens -3. Lamar said it. I'm going to have to, tail him here. The Saints historically suck against mobile quarterbacks. Lamar is the most mobile quarterback in the NFL.
Ever.
I think he runs for probably 125 yards and a touchdown. I honestly do. Rashad Bateman's out, which kind of hurts, but he's been out the last couple weeks. Duvernay, Demarcus Robinson's out the last week. Not saying Demarcus Robinson is Rashad Bateman, but again, I think there's a the offensive firepower is there for the Ravens, and on the Saints side, I just don't see it. The Ravens got better on defense with Roquan Smith, and the Saints are still running out Andy Dalton. Even if it's Jameis Winston, I like it even more. I'd be betting on a Baltimore Ravens pick 6. But some stats to go with this: Baltimore 6-2 ATS in their last 8 games against New Orleans. So I will be taking the Baltimore Ravens to beat the brakes off the Saints.
And that was against mostly Sean Payton. So
yeah,
now you get a worse coach. Whew.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Comes from the same system, same playbook, just doesn't know how to call it as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, but I think the Ravens are one of the best teams in the AFC, and the Saints are just treading water right now. Someone's just got to throw on the cinder blocks onto the feet and just sink them to the bottom, because they really aren't going anywhere this year. They're just winning meaningless games.
Send them with the fishes.
Yes, send them with the
They don't care. They don't have a first-round pick anyways.
Yeah. All they're doing is helping out the Eagles, which they don't need any more help right now at this point. So, but with that being said, we are going to wrap up this episode. Week 9. Crazy that we are this far already. Seems like the other day
halfway. It's just
we
don't
just
like it.
Yeah. But congratulations to PB and his wife Anne. Hopefully everything goes well. I'm sure it will. They are in good hands. But we will catch you guys tomorrow. The DFS show. Thank you guys. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.